Hello and welcome to another episode of Hessy and Maven. I'm Justin.
I'm Raven.
And on this week's episode, we're doing a little bit of a review. We're going back to an old classic where Raven and I make the other person sit down and watch a movie that they have not seen that we love.
Yes. I think we should do this more because I enjoy it.
I also enjoy it, even though every time my movie starts, there's an audible ugh from you. And that does hurt my feelings a little bit. When I don't do that to you, I don't make noises when the movie starts.
It's weird when I do enjoy this, because I like seeing movies I've never seen before, and I like making people watch movies that I love. But it is really hard for me sometimes to watch movies that other people have chosen. I hate watching things because people tell me to watch them.
Yeah.
YouTube videos, sometimes TikToks. I don't like listening to songs people want me to listen to. I don't know what it is.
You're a rebel.
I'm not even really. I don't know. I just I hate it. But it's stupid. So I try to go forth.
Go forth.
Yeah.
Go forth and prosper, my child. Because yes, it is true. It is hard because we come into this, we don't know what the other person has in store for us, and it could be hit or miss.
I think the issue lies in I know that we have different tastes. So a movie that you love, in my head, I'm like, oh, that's his taste. It's not my taste. I won't like it.
Mm.
So I have to push past that.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. There's so many movies out there. It is very subjective and stuff like that. But without further ado, let's just get into really quickly. So I made Raven sit through the movie Bullet Train.
Mm.
Brad Pitt, others. And
mm-hmm.
And Raven, this is where you say, I
can't remember.
You don't remember what movie you made me watch? This is the movie that you love.
Oh,
and that you made me sit through.
Because my brain is just only going Bullet Train. Don't forget to talk about Bullet Train. Bullet Train is what you watch. Don't forget the plot. I picked Hit and Run.
Yes.
Yeah, which is Dak Sheppard and Kristen Bell.
Very fun. So the idea was she went first. So she picks Hit and Run for me to watch with our mom. And interesting. And then the next day or the day after that or something like that, I had you sit through Bullet Train. We're off to a great start. And here's what they have in common. A little bit of action, a little bit of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it.
Yeah.
Fast moving stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hit and Run has cars. Bullet Train, a bullet train.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious to see what you really think when you dive into Bullet Train and see how.
And I separated my thoughts in a way that you told me to. Where I put
in a way that you told me to.
I separated them into red, yellow, and green, and then at the end I gave it a rating out of 10.
Exactly. That's what the plan is. So, watch the movie, take notes during the movie, and then sort of take all those notes and all your feelings, and we put it into red, yellow, and green. And
bad, good, neutral, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah. And go over the movie and then give it a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and going to 1 decimal point.
Mm-hmm.
So like an 8.5, for example. But before we get into that, I do have a little bit of comedy movie trivia since we are talking about comedy movies and stuff like that. Okay. And before we even get into the trivia, let me say this. If you're listening to Hessy and Maven on podcast, give us 5 stars, gang. Tell your friends and family about us that you think that they should listen to us. And find us on YouTube and TikTok at Hessy and Maven, one word. We're out there. We're on all the things. So just give us a shout out. Let us know that you're following. And be sure to respond to all of the different content that's out there. A lot of it is asking for prompts from you guys, the listeners, the viewers. So, like, for example, this episode is obviously about what we talked about. But next episode, we're going to be talking about our favorite rom-coms, our favorite romantic comedy movies. So send us in your lists, gang. What should we be thinking about? What are your favorite romantic comedies? You know, send us over comments, whatever, over on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, at Hessy and Maven. Or we have an email address, hessyandmaven@gmail.com. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, on to the trivia. I'm very curious how you'll do.
Okay.
In this. Okay. These are comedy movie trivia.
I'm ready.
Ready? Same as always. Give it a beat. So that the listeners have a chance to answer before I tell them whether you're right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, I thought that was just an inhale. That was a very purposeful inhale.
I had to inhale.
It was very meditative.
I had to.
Have you ever meditated?
Yeah, I can't do it.
I have trouble also. If it's not guided meditation, I'm lost.
I have trouble with guided
meditation.
meditation.
Tell me what to think about.
Because even when it's talking, my mind's going elsewhere, and then I miss a big chunk of it, and I can't rewind because I'm in a class where it's guided. That's like the time that I did guided meditation.
Yeah.
And then I missed a whole thing, and then I'm not on board with everyone else, and then I'm self-conscious. God. I can't meditate. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Question number 1. Who played Ferris Bueller in Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Was it A, Anthony Michael Hall, B, Charlie Sheen, or C, Matthew Broderick? Bum, 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 bum.
Matthew Broderick.
That is correct. Starting off with an easy one. Matthew Broderick plays Ferris Bueller in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Have you ever seen that movie?
No.
Interesting. It's pretty good. I'm a big fan. I like the breaking of the fourth wall a couple times where he looks directly into camera and like talks to the listeners or the viewers rather or whatever. Okay. Let's do another kind of easy one. Just curious to see kind of where your comedy movie knowledge is at.
Okay.
Next question. What kind of killer animal do the knights fight in the cave in Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Is it A, pig, B, rabbit, or C, badger? Bum, 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 bum. Raven, I need you to answer.
Badger?
It is not a badger. No, incorrect. We're looking for B, rabbit.
Oh, I don't know a single thing about Monty Python.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Monty Python and the Holy Grail, an absolute classic.
I know that Uncle Jimmy liked it, and that's the extent of my knowledge.
Okay.
The floorboards in here are so creaky. It's distracting me.
It's very creaky. There's that one section is what it is. There's one section in my bedroom floor that is so creaky to the point where I'm like, I am going to fall through that one day.
Yeah.
That and that little baby crack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced that the entire attic is going to fall in on me one day.
That'd be unfortunate.
And there's that one tree that has no branches, the dead tree. Every time it gets really like windy and blustery, which is a very big blustery. That word just makes me think of Winnie the Pooh.
In the blustery day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question.
Mm-hmm.
What is Shaun's weapon of choice against the zombies in Shaun of the Dead? A, a hockey stick. B, a lacrosse stick. Or C, a cricket bat?
A hockey stick?
Incorrect.
Is it lacrosse?
Incorrect. A cricket
This is,
bat.
I feel like, a quiz on all movies you've seen.
They happen to be all movies that I've seen, but still. Interesting. Shaun of the Dead is brilliant. It is so freaking good. Oh my god, I love it. Okay. It's so funny. Next question. Marty convinces his future father that he's what alien in Back to the Future? Is it A, Mr. Spock, B, Darth Vader, or C, Khan? Bum, bum, bum,
A.
bum. Mr. Spock? No, incorrect. Darth Vader.
Is an alien?
Well, he says that he is an alien, and his name is Darth Vader.
Oh. I never would have got that.
Plus, like, technically in Star Wars, everyone's aliens, because, I mean, Anakin Skywalker's from, like, the desert planet of Tatooine or wherever.
Oh.
So, stands to reason that if he goes to another planet, he's an alien.
Fair.
Anyway, wow, I really thought you were going to get one of Dad's favorite movies, right?
I don't think I've seen any of the Back to the Future movies all the way through.
Oh my god.
I get the gist.
That is crazy. Okay. Geez, there's so many, but I don't know. They're all about these movies, really. Let me find one here. Goodness gracious.
Classic movies are tough because I haven't seen a lot of them and I don't really have any interest in seeing them. It's the same. I feel the same way about reading classic novels.
Yeah. I get that.
I feel like at a certain point, let's move on.
It is true. There are some classic novels that I think still hold up.
There's a scene.
There are other ones where it's like, what are we doing?
There's a scene
Why
in
are we reading this still?
Crazy Stupid Love, which is an excellent movie with Steve Carell.
Great rom-com.
Where the Steve Carell's son, he yells something out while they're reading The Scarlet Letter. And the mom gets called in to talk to the teacher about it. And she says something like, man, they're still making kids read that? And it's exactly how I feel. Like, there's no other books that teach this lesson. Anyway, it's my little rant on classic novels.
No, you're totally right, though. Man. Okay. Last question, and then we'll wrap it up. That one's almost too easy. Even you're going to be able to get it, but okay. Here's a different one. What part did director Kevin Smith play in Clerks? Was it A, Silent Bob, B, Randall, or C, Jay?
Jay? He's Silent Bob?
He's Silent Bob.
Kevin Smith?
Mm-hmm.
The blonde is Jay?
Yeah. Jay and Silent Bob.
Excuse me, I was trying to think of clips I've seen of them, and I always thought it was Kevin Smith doing the talking.
No.
It's the blonde who does the talking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Anyway, there's some comedy movie trivia for Raven. Not too hot this round, but to be fair, there are a lot of movies that she hasn't seen.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me. I kept passing ones being like, that's also about Back to the Future, or this one's about Spaceballs, this one's about Caddyshack, and Jesus. So either and then there were some that were too easy where it was like, excuse me, goodness gracious. There were some that were almost too easy where it was like, who plays the main character in 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Oh.
It's like Steve Carell, come on. One of them was, what is the show Everybody Loves Raymond, which family does it revolve around? And it's like, once I give you the multiple choice, if you don't know that one, then what are we doing here? The Barones.
Yeah.
We love Everybody Loves Raymond. We're big Everybody Loves Raymond fan. Maybe we'll do an episode all about that one day in the
Everybody
future.
Loves Raymond?
In the future.
I haven't watched it in a long time.
No, it still holds up sometimes. Certain things still hold up. Okay. Well, there was a little bit of trivia for you, gang. Hey, if you got fun trivia questions that you want me to give to Raven or Raven to give to me, maybe we can switch it up. Maybe Raven can find some trivia. We'll see where I'm at.
Yeah.
We could do that. Let's do that on the romantic comedy one.
Okay.
So when we record that episode, come in with romantic comedy movie trivia, multiple choice, 3 options.
Got it.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. Let's get into it.
Okay.
Let's get into these movies. So again, I made Raven watch Bullet Train. Raven made me watch Hit and Run. And we took notes during them, and we're going to review them essentially and go over green, yellow, and red lists for each movie and then give it a rating. All the while defending our case against the person who genuinely likes that movie or agreeing with that person or whatever, depending on the opinions, I guess.
Yes.
So, do you have a preference of going first or going second, or do you want to leave it up to the dice? Leave it up to chance?
Sure. The big dice?
Not that big dice. It's too loud and big.
Oh.
Excuse me. I'm going to give you this really good looking one. That one's fun. It's got flowers in it.
One.
A nat 1. Raven gets a nat 1. I got an 11. Goodness gracious, knocking everything over. Okay. So, I should have specified what it means when someone gets higher than the other person. Do they go first or do they choose?
Oh, I hate this.
I know, so do I. So, I'm just going to go first.
God, okay.
And get it over with. So, I'm just going to go first. And let's talk a little bit about Hit and Run.
It's an excellent movie. I'm about to start by saying
that. Hit and Run is a comedy about a young couple starring Kristen Bell and Dax Sheppard who risk it all when they leave their small town life and embark on a road trip that may lead them towards the opportunity of a lifetime. Their fast-paced road trip grows awkwardly complicated and hilarious when they are chased by a friend from the past, Bradley Cooper, a federal marshal, Tom Arnold, and a band of misfits. The tagline for this movie is a comedy that never takes its foot off the gas. Wow. Rated R, Hit and Run, as stated several times before, stars Kristen Bell and Dax Sheppard.
I love them both so much.
This is incredible. I thought this movie was a lot of fun. It was very cute. But let me get into it because I have some strong feelings.
Okay.
Here's what I wrote for a little bit of a synopsis. Now, before I go into this and before Raven goes into her review of Bullet Train, spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
Get ready for spoilers, okay? If you haven't seen these movies yet and you're interested in seeing these movies and you're not the type to be into spoilers, you've been warned. This is it. This is our big warning, okay? Heads up. If you don't mind spoilers and you haven't seen these movies and you want to see if you think you'd like them, then this is perfect. Or if you've already seen these movies and you just want a fresh take, then beautiful. Anyway, let's get into it. So Hit and Run came out in 2012. A lovely couple's relationship is upended when she gets a new opportunity at her dream job, which forces him to leave witness protection and confront his true past. This movie has all the makings of a rom-com mixed with the intensity of one of the Fast and Furious films. In between harrowing car chase scenes are touching moments between real-life husband and wife Kristen Bell and Dax Sheppard. Were they married at the time of this?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. This movie is full of surprising gags, cute dialogue, and a heavy reliance on Chekhov's gun. Which, for the record, Chekhov's gun. It's just something that I notice. I'm sure it's not like a heavy reliance. I don't know why I made it seem like it's such a big deal. But Chekhov's gun. Chekhov was a writer, pretty much, and he wrote, if you say in the first chapter that there is a rifle hanging on the wall, then in the second or third chapter, it absolutely must go off. Don't mention that there's a gun on the wall. Like, his whole idea was, like, slimming things down, like getting rid of fluff, as Mueller would call it. So just making sure that, like, if you're describing something, it should have an importance. And I felt like that happens a lot in this movie. Sometimes there are things, and we'll get into it with yellow and red lights, where I'm kind of like, why did that happen? Yeah. But anyway. Also understand that, like, Raven and I, we're not experts. We're just having fun. We're just two people who enjoy TV and film, and we're reviewing it for fun. So everyone take a chill pill, and we're just having fun. Okay. Now, first, green light. Here are things I loved. Right off the bat, the chemistry between Kristen Bell and Dax Sheppard is undeniable. It is so cute.
They're so cute.
It's so fun watching them together. They do such a good job bouncing off one each other. Like, it felt, I don't know this to be a fact or anything, but it felt very improvisational at certain points. Their dialogue back and forth during certain scenes, it felt like that could easily be a whole thing where, like, they just know each other well enough. I don't know. It's just, you can't fake chemistry like that. It's so good. So yeah, just seeing them together, perform together was really, really fun. I
like when he calls her like buddy, but it's like it's in a way that it's like so romantic. Like, it's so cute. They're just, I love them as a couple.
Okay. Agree to disagree on buddy.
Oh, I love it.
It's in my notes. Another green light thing for me is the slow burn reveal of Charlie's past. You get a couple pieces of it. Boom. Okay, he's in witness protection. Boom. Okay, she does know about it. Boom. Okay, it seems like this is why he's in witness. Oh, no. Now there's added stuff. Now there's this. Okay. Things are starting to make sense, you know? Now, another green light thing for me, although it also kind of like it overlaps with some of the other colors. They have a conversation about the F slur.
Oh yeah.
So it's like the homophobic slur. Figure it out. You know what we're talking about. And here's the part about it that I thought was green light. The part about it that was green light for me was Kristen Bell having really good boundaries and vocalizing them. And being like, I can't be with somebody who says that word. Like, I don't care if you think you're saying the word in a way that is like, okay, you're not. And here's where I draw the line. I thought all of that was very good. Green light. Where it gets into some of the other stuff, yellow light, and there's a part later on that's red light, but like, not with this particular scene that's red light, but like, yeah, at the very least, yellow light, if not tipping into red light for me personally. And it's just like something that I personally am really hyper conscious about and sensitive, I guess, is like, I don't understand why we had to have that scene at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you introduce this character who says the F slur, and then you have Kristen Bell be like, you shouldn't say that because of X, Y, and Z. And Dax Sheppard, rightfully so, is like, okay, like, I see where you're coming from. I get it. I won't say it anymore. And like, that's all great. Green light for how it turns out. But like, the yellow light in me is like, why even in the first place? Like, what is even the point of that? Like, you just wanted to be like, hey, just so you know, this guy does say the F slur, but don't worry, we wrap it up. And it just like didn't make sense. Like, you could have not had that scene at all, and it wouldn't have like taken away from the movie. It wouldn't have been like, yeah, but I wonder if Kristen Bell ever has to stand up for minorities. Like, it just like didn't feel necessary to the story. Is why it hits some yellow light for me.
I think it's to highlight the whole movie, they touch on her career background and her like academic background that's in conflict resolution and like peace studies is like what she like went to school for, and like their differences. Like she is all about conflict resolution, peaceful talking, communication, and he had this like criminal background that's like ends up being super crazy. So I think it's just to highlight, like to show what she's all about.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I guess I just personally think that you could have done it in different ways. I don't know, but I get where that point. Yeah. It's just, for me, it was like one of those things. Like I said, how they handled it was green light. It was just like the yellow light for me was like, was it necessary to do it that way? Like, you guys aren't, like, I don't know about the director or like the screenwriter or anything like that, but it was like, you guys aren't gay. Like, why do you need to have this conversation? I'm looking at it almost like a meta way too. It's not like their characters and this moment. That's all very believable. Green light. But I was like looking out, like thinking of the movie as a movie and being like, why did the writers need to put this scene this way? You know what I mean? Why couldn't they have shown her peace resolution skills in a different way that wasn't handling a slur? Like, could have done it in a slightly different way. Okay. But that's just, I'm really sensitive about stuff like that. Okay. That being said, another green light, old orgy scene. Not once, but twice.
It's surprising.
There's a scene where Dax Sheppard and Kristen Bell get to a shitty motel on the side of the road, and they go into what they think is their room, and they open the door, and it's a bunch of old people having an orgy, and like old people having an orgy, and you just see a lot of boobs and penises that are old, and it is such a surprise because it's so out of left field. Like, this movie did not need to be rated R. And then they put scenes in like that where you're like, I guess. Yeah. I thought it was funny because it just comes out of left field. Yeah. It is. It's so surprising because it really does. Like, the movie at no point gives you the idea of like, this is kind of be a little bit like Hangover, but romantic. And you're like, okay, so there's going to be some dirty moments. And you're like, no, not really. It's going to be sweet. Like, Kristen Bell and Dax Sheppard are so cute together. Old man penis. Yeah. And you're like, no. Yeah. So like, that was crazy. And then later, when Bradley Cooper is following them, he's like the antagonist. When he's following them, he goes into the same room and you see it all again. And it's just as surprising the second time. And it's just so crazy.
I like it because I like to see their reactions. I think it's really funny when Kristen Bell says like, it's Grammys and Grampies.
That was like, really funny.
So cute. So funny.
My next note for Greenlight is Randy.
Randy is so funny.
Played by Tom Arnold. Randy is the U.S. Marshal in charge of the witness protection of Dax Sheppard's character. And I just felt like, man, that guy is funny.
He's like a running joke of the whole movie.
Yeah, he's like the very typical like nincompoop best friend. Yeah. Like, he just always gets everything wrong, but then like sort of saves the day at the end. Yeah. And it's just like an absolute nincompoop. And speaking of Chekhov's gun, there's a really funny, so like there's all the little tiny things where like he has a bowling ball and he's like, hey buddy, I bought you a bowling ball. And this is when Dax Sheppard's like, oh, I'm gone. I'm going to LA. Like, I'm not home. And he's like, what? And he throws the bowling ball in the back and the camera keeps focusing on the bowling ball. That's Chekhov's gun, where you're like, all right, that bowling ball is going to come into play. And sure enough, it does. He slams on the brake, it shoots through the window. Like, Chekhov's gun. And I just wrote down the quote. I don't think he's gay. He's 50.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That made me laugh really hard. Like, just this idea that, because they find that there's like an ongoing joke that's like the equivalent of the Grindr app, which is like the dating.
Called Pouncer in the movie.
Pouncer. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's a gay dating app. But a lot of people will use it for like kind of consensual, but like casual sex, like just hooking up. And this this like local police officer has the app, and he's gay, and he's got a female partner, and they track down Tom Arnold, Randy, the U.S. Marshal, using the app, and they're like, he's like passed out in his car because he got in a car accident or something, and they're like, is it him? And the girl's just like, I don't think he can be gay. He's 50.
Yeah.
And the gay partner like looks at her like, what? You don't outgrow being gay?
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up.
It is really funny.
It's very funny. That made me laugh. It has the movie in total has a neat, happy little ending, which I enjoyed. I sometimes really do like that. Sometimes not, but sometimes I do like a neat, happy little ending where everything works out perfectly, even though the dad part of my brain is like, that's not how that would work.
Oh, I have a completely opposite way of thinking. If I don't get a happy ending where everything kind of ties like together and ends, I am upset.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed.
Sometimes it depends.
Because I don't watch movies for a real life ending. That's
No,
what I have real life for.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I just like, it depends on the movie and the show for me. Like, I just I had watched that show Hijack with Idris Elba, and it's all about a plane hijacking, and it's very intense. It's all, I can't imagine it going to season 2 because the whole thing gets resolved in season 1. So
yeah.
Pretty sure it's a limited time series kind of thing. And I watched it, and I was on the freaking edge of my seat. Episodes would end with such intense cliffhangers. I'd be screaming, going, "Oh my God, this freaking show!" And then everything wrapped up beautifully, so neat and tight at the end. That for me, it wasn't good. Like, it was too neat. Like, to have this hyper realistic show about a plane hijacking and have everything end so neatly at the end was just like, what? Okay. And it just felt a little like, oh. Like, I can't imagine watching an action movie and being like, I'm on the edge of my seat, like anything can happen. Oh, the most expected thing happened. Okay, never mind. Never mind. That ended exactly how the good guys wanted it to and the bad guys didn't. Perfect. Okay. Wow. All right. Let's all go home. Like, that's how it ended. I remember just being like, oh, there you go. Like, don't get me wrong. I was like glad that the characters I liked weren't dead or something, but like, I don't know. Okay. Then my final green light is that it has a lot of cameos from different actors. There's Sean Hayes, who plays the employer that she is interviewing the job for. And she shows up at the end, and she's covered in dirt and mud and like blood and looks like shit and all this stuff. And she walks into the room, and he's smoking weed. And he's just high out of his mind, which is like a very 2012 joke. It's a
very 2012 movie, I feel like.
It is. Yeah. It really is. And Kristen Chenoweth, who is popping pills left and right. Bradley Cooper is
his dreadlocks.
A pretty big character. Let's just get right into my yellow lights.
Okay.
Why does Bradley Cooper have dreadlocks?
Yeah, I don't know why they made that choice.
Another directing choice that makes no freaking sense.
Yeah, he looks crazy.
He looks so dumb. There's no reason for his character to have those dreadlocks.
Yeah.
There's no explanation. Is it as simple as he was in prison, he's a bad boy. Bad boy equals white boy with dreadlocks? Like, no. That doesn't even make sense. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. He looks really weird.
No
Did you expect the scene where he attacks the guy with the dog food?
No.
Yeah, I know that came out of left field when I first saw that movie. I was like, Jesus.
I wrote that whole scene, that's a yellow light for me also. That whole scene seemed unnecessary.
Yeah, I think that's just to highlight how crazy he is.
It was just to illustrate how Bradley Cooper can flick on and off.
It's like the introductory scene of like, oh, he's the villain. Okay. He's going to be the crazy.
But it was also like, I'm a villain, but also like, do right by your dog. Like, make sure your dog's not eating bad dog food.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, good reason, but bad execution. I'm still confused. The dreadlocks, you lost me. I don't understand what's going on with those.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that whole thing was weird. Also, why is Alan wearing a suit the whole time? And the one time he gets into the mix is when Dak Sheppard's dad tries to hit him with a shovel, and Alan can do a backflip. What the hell is that?
I mean, he gets beat up after.
I know, but like,
I don't know. I don't know anything about Alan.
Like, I want to be a fly on the wall when they made this movie.
Yeah.
When they're like, okay, here's what I'm thinking. Probably like hopped up on coke, and they're just like, all right, Bradley Cooper's the bad guy, but get this, dreadlocks.
I know. I don't know.
They'll be like, okay, who else was in the gang that Dak Sheppard's character was in? I don't know, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
A guy named Alan, and they're like, all right, cool, what's Alan's deal? And he's like, I don't know, he always wears a suit. He looks nice. He's always wearing a suit. They're like, okay, that's his whole thing. He wears a suit. No. He's really acrobatic. He's really into backflips.
Yeah.
This man can backflip like nobody's problem. Oh, okay, cool. He's a kung fu expert? No, he gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
But he does one cool backflip to dodge a shovel.
Mm-hmm.
It just was like, so much of it made no sense, where it was just like, what are we doing?
They don't really go into Alan, so it's just like a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah. The other thing is, I wrote Buddy as a pet name.
Oh, I like it.
I hate it.
I like it. I think it's cute.
I hate it so much.
When the romance is like so felt, like between Dak Sheppard and Kristen Bell, and you can tell it's not like we're buds, we're friends, we're roommates.
Yeah.
Like you can tell they're a couple, then I think it's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I guess I just for some reason don't love that nickname. But anyway. And then I just wrote down, I'm not a car person. So like every time Dak Sheppard is talking about his car, I'm like feeling very much on the side of Kristen Bell, where I'm like,
when she says there's a certain kind of person that's attracted to this
all
car. All
the guys that are coming up to you talking about how cool your car are rapists.
Yeah.
Like, how does that feel?
Yeah.
And he like takes offense to it, and it's like, no, that's exactly how I feel though.
Yeah.
Like I hate cars and like car people. I just don't. It's not that I hate car people, but like I can't. It's like a whole industry / hobby or whatever you want to call it, interest that I just cannot.
Yeah.
Even pretend to give a crap about.
I know. But you can tell because of his knowledge and interest in cars, you can tell why he was like the getaway driver.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. It like that all those scenes for me was like, oh, this is why they chose him as the getaway driver.
Yeah,
because
sure.
He does the drag racing and the crazy turns and the engine know-how or whatever.
Makes sense. Yeah, for sure. It's just like it's such a turn off for me to have anybody be even remotely like obsessed with cars.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, let's get into red lights. So like a yellow light that goes into red light is just the blatant product placement with these cars. Like the driving a Corvette and driving like they drive a car at one point, and like Alan is like, this car goes really fast, and like it's just like so obvious product placement of like this Cadillac SUV or whatever.
Okay.
Which takes me out of the movie when it's like so obvious like that. Like,
okay.
I don't know. I didn't understand. It felt really silly to me, other than we need to get him inside of a Corvette. but the Corvette's not like the car that he built with his dad. So how do we get rid of the car that he built with his dad? We'll have this other character who just meets him at a gas station, drives by spookily, we'll put the camera on his eyes, and then just steals his engine.
Yeah.
As if stealing an engine is a really easy thing to do, unless you're like a professional car mechanic / like chop shop kind of thing. I was like, get the fuck out of here. That was so dumb. And it had no bearing. It forced, the only thing it does is it forces Dax Shepard's character to out himself and his backstory a little bit faster because of him having the universal fob key or whatever the fuck. But I just didn't. I thought that whole thing was so silly.
See, it's so interesting. I picked out a totally different issue with the movie at that scene than you picked out. When that happens, when the engine gets stolen, and Kristen Bell's reaction after getting told that when she's in the shower is like, sorry, your engine got stolen, sweetie. Like, doesn't have that big of a reaction. I would be like, okay, interesting. We're going into territory where my witness protection boyfriend needs to be protected, where the crime happened, and we don't have a car now. Like, scary. And when he has to steal the car because the people that are going to kill him are there, and she like is freaking out about the fact that he's stealing the car and has the fob, I think I would let it go. I feel like I would think like,
it'd be like, for
if
now,
my life is in danger,
we'll talk about this later.
I'm letting it go.
Yeah.
I'm not like mad that we're stealing the car.
Not
like,
at that moment.
Not at that moment. I'm like, we need to be alive, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like,
they have guns.
Yeah, and I feel like
guns.
She gets mad about the stealing of the car like too prematurely. Like, and that part annoyed me because it's like, your life is at risk. There are people chasing you with guns.
I know.
Like, be okay with the car.
Be okay.
Like, and I also, sorry to cut you off because it's your rating, but she takes not being told about his real past way more intensely than I think I would have taken it. Because it's not like he was like, I did murder 10 people. I know I didn't tell you, but that was just me omitting. I wasn't lying about the 10 people that I murdered.
Yeah.
He was like the getaway driver of robberies. And like, yeah, like I'm not stoked.
Right.
But when she's like freaking out, she's like, you lied. Like, I feel like so stupid for loving you. And it's like, I think I would have reacted differently. Like, you knew he was in witness protection. You knew there was crime. You knew, like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think I wouldn't have been like as intense about it.
When I think of witness protection, and a lot of this is just from like TV shows and shit like that, but like, I think of somebody who was in the gang and flipped.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like
someone who saw something.
It was just a perfectly normal witness who just saw the crime, and now we're spending millions of resources to make sure that they don't get killed for years after the fact. And it's like, I don't know if that happens.
Also, like, they're not supposed to tell you like real name, who they were married to before, who they were engaged to, what their life was like.
What the fuck is the deal with his real name? Oh my god. Yurtris or whatever the fuck.
Yule Gibbons.
Oh my god. And I looked it up, and like the old-timey
Yule
Russian actor or whatever that it was based on, and I was just like, dude, I just can't. I can't with like these. It feels like, was this ever based on a book?
I don't know, but I don't think so.
It feels like it would have been so much better as a book. Like, so many different things to expand on, where they tried to like force it through in what felt like a 90-minute movie. It felt very fast. I can't remember how long it was, but anyway, my last red flag is this whole movie, and this is something you had brought up too. This whole movie happens. The plot of this movie unfolds the way that it does. The only reason this movie has any actual action or intensity whatsoever is just because Kristen Bell's ex-boyfriend Gil sucks.
Oh yeah, none of this would have happened if Gil would have not.
It's not a real red
there.
flag or red light or whatever. It's just like a silly observation where.
No, yeah, he spurs on the plot of the entire movie because he is the one
calls
who
Bradley Cooper.
Calls Bradley Cooper.
I know where Ewell Gibbons is.
Yeah, if he wouldn't have, Gil sucks so bad so many times in the movie. But if he wouldn't have done that, then like they wouldn't have been followed, and there would have been no movie. It would have been completely fine.
All right, let me get into my conclusion so that we can get into your movie because we're already at 45 minutes.
Okay.
So my conclusion: this movie had it all. Romance, comedy, action, and enough old man dick for an entire lifetime.
Oh my god.
I think this movie would have bombed if not for the chemistry of Kristen Bell and Dax Sheppard. I do think that there are aspects of this movie that aren't for me personally. So this rating says more about me than it does about the film itself. I don't give a shit about cars. So I kind of vibed with Kristen Bell a lot when she said, if your dream car is also the dream car of, let's just call them rapists, then what does that say about you? And there were some parts of dialogue that even though they were self-aware about, it didn't have any importance to the story in my opinion, and therefore I just didn't really jive with it. But it was very fun. I laughed out loud several times and was pleasantly surprised at the absurdity of the movie. I give Hit and Run a 7.3.
Okay. Fair.
7.3. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again unless I was kind of casually doing something else and this was sort of on in the background as like somebody else who was there hadn't seen it. And it was just like if Tony had never seen the movie and we were just kind of like hanging out in the living room and we just kind of put it on in the background while we're talking.
Fair.
But yeah, 7.3. Hit and run.
Okay. Fair.
Pop.
All right.
Go for it.
Very good. Did you read a online synopsis of that when you first started?
I did, but then I also had my own.
Okay, I did not write my own synopsis, so I will read this online one.
Okay.
Of Bullet Train, according to Google. Okay, it says, Ladybug is an unlucky assassin who's determined to do his job peacefully after one too many gigs have gone off the rails. Fate, however, may have other plans as his latest mission puts him on a collision course with lethal adversaries from around the globe, all with connected yet conflicting objectives on the world's fastest train. That's the plot, according to Google.
Accurate.
Okay. I'm gonna go red, yellow, green.
Okay.
So that it ends on a good note.
Very good.
Okay. I can't, some of these are very disjointed, so I really don't know what they might be about. Some of my red notes were, I felt like there was a lot of monologuing. I can't remember what that's about. Bad Bunny took me out of it. It felt like a weird, like, let's just throw a singer in there somewhere.
I think he's getting into acting.
Oh, yeah, I felt like it was very random.
He's coming up in there's a gay Latino wrestling movie coming out.
Okay.
That low-key looks awesome.
That he's
like
in?
It actually looks really good and he's in it. Yeah.
Oh,
so I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think that's why he was randomly thrown in.
Yeah.
Because he
it was weird. It was
trying
like
to get into acting. I thought he did a good job, and while I've listened to Bad Bunny, I'm like so out of the music world that like I didn't even know that was him until you said it, and then I was like, oh fuck, that does kind of look like Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Then we Googled it and was like, oh no, that is him.
Yeah, it was just so random. I wrote that Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brad Pitt have the same hair but different font. They just had the same haircut, like frou-frou in your face.
These are red lights?
Too long. Yeah, I didn't like it. I don't like that hair length. I think that it looks bad on them.
I thought Brad Pitt
A lot
great.
of people disagree and think that hair length looks good on Aaron Taylor Johnson. I don't agree.
What did you think about his mustache?
It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah. I give it a 4 out of 10. Then I wrote, why did Lemon have to die? That was horrible. That was a very painful scene where Lemon first gets very injured. I hate Joey King, the actress who plays the girl. I hate her.
Yeah.
I feel similar
she plays
to her.
The Little Prince.
The like, Prince?
That's like her title. The girl who is like the
very neatly dressed
the Diesel.
And British.
The Diesel.
Yes. Yeah. I feel similar to her that I feel about from Save the Last Dance.
Oh, Julia Stiles.
I can't stand looking at their face. Like, I see their face and I'm immediately like, ugh, why did they have to pick you?
I know. In this role, it makes sense because at least you're not supposed to like her, I don't think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which was easy because I didn't.
Yeah, neither did I. I could not. I don't know what it is. I think any time that there's a child character who's like, I'm just a little kid. And then they're like, but actually I'm the smartest one here and I'm super manipulative and I'm going to, when the bad guys come, I'll cry and pretend to be weak, but then I'm actually very smart. Yeah. That trope, I fucking hate it.
Yeah, I don't love it. I think
it's just because I'm like not really into kids.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, God, I hate kids. Then the idea that like, you mean kids are smarter than me?
Yeah.
I don't fucking think so. I will punch them until they cry. And
yeah, she was very she was good at being unlikable because I didn't like her. When the guy, she was like, "You're gonna help me," and he was like, "No, I'm not." And she was like, "Oh, that's weird. I'll just kill your kid who's in the hospital." Like, yeah, I was like, "Okay, I hate you a lot now." And then I just wrote in all caps, "Sad about Lemon." Those are all my red flags.
Yeah, those are all fair. Those are all fair.
Yeah. Yellow.
Okay.
I couldn't tell what the genre was when the movie was like first starting, which I don't normally like. I like very black and white when it comes to what the genre is. Like, it's either action or romance or comedy or like, this is the reason I don't like a lot of the Marvel movies because I feel like they're action and comedy and I feel like they lean too much into comedy. Where when I'm watching an action superhero movie, I want it to be like the X-Men movies, which don't have that much comedy. More action, more drama, more intense. Like,
I agree with you when it comes to the superhero movies. I think they big time need to switch that. The Batman movies are successful for a reason,
right?
Not that Marvel's not successful; they are.
Yeah,
but they've gotten so much shit over the past like couple years with their movies being too funny.
Yeah, too many
Thor:
jokes.
Love and Thunder got shit on.
Yeah,
and big reason was because it was too funny. It was
like, I want to,
and it's not even like good humor because like you could be too funny and like lean into it, own it.
Yeah,
like make it known that this movie is comedy first, action second. Lean into it. That's fine. But yeah, you're still trying to pose as a superhero movie.
Yeah, like if there, I think it would be different if like Guardians of the Galaxy was known as the Marvel movies that are like haha funny first, action second, because that's what their thing is. But then like, isn't Thor: Love and Thunder? Isn't that where like Natalie Portman comes in?
She comes back in, but yeah,
like I want her to be like a formidable, intimidating, like and powerful. She
had her moments,
but then like it's when I hear it's like funny, jokey, I'm like I don't care now. Like I want it to be like Jean Grey. Like imagine if Jean Grey was just like making jokes and you're just like, okay, you're supposed to be like this badass.
I know, like Dark Phoenix. Like
yeah,
out of here. No, I totally agree.
So anyway, I felt like everyone's accent was wrong. I wrote that as a yellow thing. Like I could tell that almost everybody was doing a different accent. Like, with the exception of Brad Pitt and I don't know who else, but like I could tell Joey King and Aaron Taylor Johnson were doing accents. I don't know if Lemon had an accent. Like he was British in the movie. I don't know if that's his.
It's not
actual accent. No. Yeah, I just felt like everyone's accent was off.
There were a lot of accents in this. In this thing. Yeah, it's rough.
Which is, if they don't, I'm not saying they do bad accents, but I like get, like when I know that an actor is doing an accent, I feel like their acting isn't as good because I feel like they're trying to do the accent and act versus I'm just trying to act in this role, which I might be looking too much into it because their acting is great. I'm not saying they're bad actors, but I think it takes me out of it a little bit. Like I'm like,
it's hard when you recognize the actors.
Yeah.
And then you're like, so I know this actor doesn't normally talk like this.
Like that movie where Brad Pitt has like a weird, he's like an angel or something, and he talks to that woman in like a Jamaican accent.
Yeah.
Like that scene was like,
that's crazy. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's a reason for it in that movie.
Yeah.
Why? It's like, I think that movie is called Meet Joe Black or something like that. But anyway, yeah. No, I get it. I thought some of the accents were. I thought Lemon and Tangerine did a good job.
Yeah.
But.
I wrote Brad Pitt is the only likable character, and then I wrote actually the grandpa too, because I felt like everyone had like gave me reasons to dislike them. So I was like struggling to root for anyone because I was like, okay, Aaron Taylor Johnson is being annoying. Like, what happened to Logan Lerman?
Logan Lerman, who's like
what is happening?
The Russian mafia guy's son who he just has facial tattoos, a slight accent, and is a drug addict.
Yeah. He makes a quick appearance in the movie.
So funny.
But then like I ended up liking Lemon at the end and Tangerine a little bit.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, Brad Pitt and the grandpa I felt like were the only likable characters.
I mean, fair. I loved Brad Pitt in this movie so much. This movie like rekindles all of the things that were like the hipster part of my heart is like, you can't be too loud about your affection for Brad Pitt. It's too cliche. And this movie made me just be like, actually,
yeah, there's a reason people love him.
Scream it from the rooftops, dude. Brad Pitt
was a fantastic
is awesome.
actor.
I love Brad Pitt. I think he's incredibly handsome. I think he's a good actor. He's funny. Action, like he just does it all. He looks cool. I just feel like he always looks cool. He puts his hair back in a ponytail, and 9 times out of 9 times, I'm gonna be like, "You look like an idiot." He does it.
No,
he pulls it off somehow, and I'm like, all right, it's actually not the worst.
Yeah.
And there's just, I don't know, I love this fucking movie so much. But
when they were showing the White Death, like at like little random times where like you couldn't see his face, like he had a mask or like the shadows are over his face, and you just saw like the wispy hair. I really thought the White Death was going to be Steven Tyler.
Oh boy, could you imagine?
That. And then it wasn't. It was an actor I recognized.
Michael Shannon.
Yeah. But I really thought it was going to be Steven Tyler.
And let me say this. You talked about accents, but you didn't talk about the bad guy yet, so I didn't bring him up. His accent is terrible.
Yeah. Everyone's accent was weird.
And I love Michael Shannon. I love him so much. Ever since he read that
it's Russian,
sorority letter.
The accent? Yeah.
Yeah, ever since he read that sorority letter that went around at University of Maryland, when we went there, I had class with that girl. I had an English class with her. She was funny. I liked her a lot, actually. But, yeah.
Yeah.
I've always liked Michael Shannon. That was just, terrible showing. I was just like, oh my God, this accent is garbage.
Yeah, it wasn't great. My guess for the voice on the phone, I thought it was Charlie from Friends.
Oh yeah.
That actress. And then it ended up being Sandra Bullock. Which is fine, but her hair was crazy. I hated that choice.
Her hair did look
it was like
wild.
It was like the emo swoop over one eye, and I was like, what is this Sandra Bullock?
Yep. You're talking about Aisha Taylor.
Aisha Tyler is who I thought it was.
Yeah.
Also, I wrote that I had big deja vu at the end of the movie. Like, I think I've seen clips of it on TikTok. Yeah, I had big deja vu. I was like, oh my God, I feel like I've seen this before. Okay, now I'll move on to my green points.
Can't wait.
The running joke of El Saguaro, him saying it wrong, brought me back to Conrad from Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
Concave condor. I appreciated that. I thought it was funny.
That's good.
The scene where Tangerine figures out that she's the Diesel because the Diesel sticker's on her back.
I thought that
gave me really goosebumps.
Cute.
I got goosebumps at that part. I thought it was good.
Stickers and stuff. Yeah.
I wrote the Diesel sticker was the best part, and then I wrote actually the woman nurse killing the assassin was the best part.
Oh, so cool.
The grandpa protecting the grandson.
So cool. Really
good. Yeah, when he tells Joey King, like, you think I would leave my grandson unprotected? Very good.
So good.
Lemon and the dad not being dead was a happy surprise, and now I'm miserable about Aaron Taylor Johnson. So I went from being stoked that the dad and Lemon were alive. I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy that they're alive. And now I'm depressed that Tangerine is dead.
Yep.
So it was a big roller coaster of emotions. But I was so happy about Lemon.
Yeah, same.
Love the grandpa at the end. I love every scene with him when he comes onto the train and he's like, I am a Mortal Kombat character and I'm ready.
I have a story to tell you.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. No, I think you like this story.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm all right. I tell it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, no, thank you. He's like, all right, once upon a time. That whole scene kills me.
Yeah.
So silly.
I did very much like the grandpa. I wrote, I hope he kills the White Death. And then I wrote, if he dies, I'm taking 2 points off the rating. Because I was like committed to him saving the day. And then my last green note, I wrote in all caps, yes, Lemon, LOL. And I think it was when you think he died because he tackles somebody off the train into the water.
Yeah.
But then he pops out of the water and is alive again. And that's when I wrote that. I was so happy.
He gets into a truck full of tangerines.
Oh, yeah.
And drives it into that
Joey
girl.
King.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very good.
So funny. Yeah, this movie had a lot of like the way that a lot of those movies do where there's like 6 different storylines. Like he's just not that into you. Mm-hmm. Or like the movie Crash or something where there's like 6 storylines and they all meld into one and you're like, oh, it's all connected. And it's very much like
I do like movies like that. Also like Valentine's Day and New Year's Day.
So much fun. Yeah. The star-studded what is Cinema Joe called?
A stacked cast.
A stacked cast.
Yeah.
It has that vibe of being like, okay, let's work it all together. Yeah. What did you think of the like little flashback kind of things? Like those moments where it would like introduce a new character and be like the wolf, and then there would be a flashback of how Bad Bunny became the wolf. Oh. Or like the girl that happens with Lemon and Tangerine where they're counting how many deaths there are.
Oh, yes. And the girl who had the snake.
Yes.
What was she? I forget what she was called.
The Viper or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it added to.
What about the part where it was the water bottle?
Oh, that was crazy.
And it gets its own little recap of like what happens with it. I thought that was, when that happened the first time I saw the movie, I was like, genius.
It stressed me out every time he drank from the water bottle. They show multiple scenes of him drinking from the water bottle, and you're just like,
it's going down.
Yeah.
It's going down.
Yeah.
But then you completely forget about it when the shots take place. When he gets shot by the little prince. Mm-hmm. You completely forget about the sleeping thing.
Yeah, because I just thought he was dead.
Goes to sleep, and you're like, oh, the sleeping thing, oh no. And then she's like, bop, 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 and you're like,
yeah,
shot him while he was asleep. Like, what? Fuck her, man.
Yeah.
And then you find out that he's wearing a vest.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah.
Also, how funny and silly and random it was to have Channing Tatum.
Oh, yeah.
The little scenes of Channing Tatum.
Yeah. Random.
Is this a sex thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or like when random. What is his name? You keep saying his name. The guy with 3 names.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. When he like is walking down the thing all intense after he just broke in the window with his hand. Mm-hmm. Unreal. And he's just like angry walking down the train, and Channing Tatum's like, he's got a great walk. Yeah. I love that. That makes me laugh so hard.
It makes me like Channing Tatum a lot more knowing that he does things like this, like that he's down for random comedy roles. You know what I mean?
He's also together with Zoe Kravitz, I believe. I think they're a couple.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Would not have pictured them together.
I know, right?
Yeah, that seems random as hell.
Yeah. I know about Zoe Kravitz's life because Jason Momoa posts about it sometimes. Yeah.
Interesting. Who is he to her? Like stepdad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
So interesting.
But yeah, I
Lenny
believe he's
Kravitz.
dating Zoe Kravitz.
Wild.
I
couldn't imagine
what?
My name being Lenny Kravitz, and then simultaneously also being one of the coolest people alive.
Yeah.
It's such a weird dichotomy.
I mean, I don't think that much of him.
Neither do I, but he is dripping with cool. Yeah. Every time I see him, he's got a level of cool that I can't even.
He just wears like baggy jeans and sunglasses all the time.
Raven, you don't get it. It's more than that.
I don't get it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So I thought it was a good movie. I could tell why people love it. I could tell why you love it. It's not a movie I would have chosen for myself, but that's the point of this. Mm-hmm. And I gave it a 7.9 out of 10.
Ooh, 7.9.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, because it was good. It had its faults, just like little things that I'm picky about.
Right.
And I probably wouldn't watch it again on my own at least, but I did enjoy it. I had a good time watching it.
Very good.
So.
Very good. Hey, we'll take it.
Yeah.
We'll take that 7.9 all day. Mm-hmm. All right. Fantastic. Well, again, if you're listening to Hessy and Maven on podcast, be sure to give us 5 stars and great ratings and tell us what we should be talking about next. You can send us an email at hessyandmaven@gmail.com. We're next going to be talking about our favorite rom coms or romantic comedies. Send us in what your favorite romantic comedy is. If you do it in time, maybe you'll make the episode. Okay? Little sneak peek, little shout out. Other than that, we also are on YouTube. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram at Hessy and Maven. Check us out, all right? Thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode of Hessy and Maven. I'm Justin. This is Raven. Am I doing the intro over again?
I don't know what you're doing.
What happened? I started and lost my way.
It's fine. Bring it back. Find your way back.
Pick it from the top. Thanks so much for tuning into this week's episode of Hessy and Maven. Tune in next time where we talk about something else.
Bye.
Bye.